Hey there! If you're an Arizona landlord with a long-term rental property, you're in the right place. We're going to walk through the essential insurance coverages you really need to know about. And we'll use some real-world Arizona scenarios, monsoon damage, tenant issues, so you can see exactly how this protection works when you need it most. Let's dive in.
So, let's be real. That rental property is probably one of your biggest investments. But here in Arizona, it faces some pretty unique threats, doesn't it? I'm not just talking about a leaky faucet. I'm talking about powerful monsoon storms, the liability that comes with having tenants, and, of course, the risk of losing that steady rental income. The whole point of this is to make sure your insurance is actually built for these real-world Arizona challenges.
So, here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about protecting the physical building. Then, we'll get into securing your cash flow. After that, we'll cover the big one, liability. And we'll finish up with how to really customize your policy and what your next step should be. It's a clear path to really understanding your protection.
Okay, let's start with the absolute foundation, protecting the actual physical property. This means the house itself, anything else on the lot, like a fence or a shed, and even the things you might provide for your tenants inside.
All right, picture this all too common Arizona scene. A massive monsoon rolls through Tempe. The wind is howling, and a huge tree branch just snaps and comes crashing down on the roof of your rental. It doesn't just damage the shingles, it punches through and messes up the drywall inside. So, what coverage kicks in here?
This is a job for your dwelling coverage. It is specifically designed to pay for repairs to the core structure of your rental. The house, the roof, the walls, when they get damaged by things like wind, fire, or even vandalism. This is truly the bedrock of your entire policy.
Okay, let's try a new scenario. Your rental in Phoenix has a nice little detached storage shed in the backyard that your tenants use. Then, out of nowhere, a surprise hailstorm just pummels the area. The house itself is fine, but that shed, it's a complete wreck.
And this is exactly why you need other structures coverage. This part of your policy is for all the things on your property that aren't physically attached to the main house. We're talking about that shed, a detached garage, the fence around the yard. It's an easily overlooked but absolutely critical piece of the puzzle. Now, let's say you've got a furnished place in Scottsdale. You've provided the refrigerator, the dishwasher, the whole shebang. One day, a pipe under the kitchen sink bursts. It floods the kitchen and completely fries those appliances you own. This is a very different kind of property damage, right?
And here's a really critical point. Your basic dwelling coverage isn't going to touch those ruined appliances. For that, you need what's called Landlord's Contents coverage. It protects the items you own and provide for your tenants. And this is a key takeaway. Once a tenant moves in, your old homeowners policy, it likely provides zero coverage for these things. You absolutely need a specific landlord policy.
So we've covered the physical stuff, but what about the whole reason you have the rental in the first place? The money it generates. Your rental is an income stream, and a smart policy protects that cash flow just as much as it protects the bricks and mortar.
Just imagine this for a second. A small kitchen fire damages the inside of your Phoenix rental. Now, thankfully, nobody was hurt, but the unit is completely unlivable for the 2 months it's going to take for repairs. That means for 2 straight months, you can't collect a dime in rent.
This is where loss of rental income coverage becomes your financial safety net. It's a game changer. If a covered event like that fire makes your property unlivable, this coverage actually reimburses you for the rent payments you're missing out on during that repair time. It keeps your investment working for you even when it's sitting empty.
All right, let's talk about what is honestly one of the biggest risks for any landlord, liability. This is all about protecting you and your finances if someone gets hurt on your property and decides that you are to blame.
So here's a classic and pretty high-stakes scenario. A visitor at your Mesa rental trips on a broken handrail, one that you were supposed to maintain. They get seriously hurt and decide to sue you for their medical bills and a whole lot more. What happens now?
Your landlord liability coverage is what springs into action. It's like a financial shield. It's designed to cover your legal defense costs, which can be huge, and any potential settlements if you're found responsible for that injury. Without this, your personal assets could be on the line.
So, the big question is, how much liability coverage is enough? Well, the general consensus among experts is a minimum of $1 million. I know, it might sound like a lot, but in today's world, the legal and medical costs from just a single incident can skyrocket. That $1 million limit provides a really robust financial shield.
A standard policy is a fantastic start, but every property is a little different.
That's why you can add optional coverages, they're called endorsements, to really tailor the policy to your specific needs and those unique risks we have here in Arizona.
Some common add-ons you might see are things like ordinance and law, which helps pay to bring your property up to new building codes during a big repair. But think about equipment breakdown coverage. If that aging HVAC unit in your Phoenix rental decides to quit in the middle of July, well, this can help cover that massive replacement cost. A very, very real Arizona risk. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground, but the final and, frankly, the most important step is to put all this knowledge into action to make sure your investment is truly secure.
So here's your action plan. It's simple. First, really think about your specific risks. Second, review your policy every single year. Seriously, things change. And third, talk to a local expert. Getting a professional review that's tailored for Arizona landlords is just the smartest move you can make.
And that's where we come in. At Riseson Insurance, we work with the nation's best carriers to build policies specifically for Arizona landlords like you. We know the local risks inside and out, and we can help you find that perfect combination of core coverages and those special endorsements. Give us a call at 602-460-5470 for a free, no-obligation policy review. Let's make sure your investment is protected the right way.